back to the O Show, everything crypto every day. I've got Mr. Gregg from the HEDERA Foundation. Gregg, you were on the show last month, but I have you on again because you were at Sibos 2025, really showcasing Hedera's role in bridging TradFi and DeFi together. So I had to have you back on to talk about it. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Glad to be back.
Thank you for coming back. I said, thank you for having me, but you're on my show. So I need to thank you for coming on. So let's just go ahead and get straight into it because there's actually a lot that was announced by the foundation and Hedera and just the entire ecosystem from Sibos. So in your interview, because there was a couple clips from you that I saw, I wanted to ask you some more detailed questions about that. So in your interview, you mentioned how Hedera was chosen by the state of Wyoming to support the U.S. first state-issued stable token, FRNT. Talk to us about that. Like, what does it say about Hedera's compliance framework? And do you expect more state or sovereign projects to follow?
I do. I think we're going to see more stablecoin issuers, be they sovereign states like, the state of Wyoming, sovereign countries, bank consortiums, banks, fintechs. Stablecoin issuance is coming. I think that's a real key and clear theme. And many of these parties perform pretty extensive due diligence in their process. And so, I think it really speaks to Hedera's strengths in terms of its both it's being custom fit for stablecoin use cases in terms of its scalability and its risk frameworks. So it adheres to the needs of these issuers to and as a result, we expect more issuance to come.
Yeah, I know right now it's like completely stablecoin season, but it's not very exciting for a lot of people because it's a stablecoin. It's kind of flat and stable. But you did mention how Hedera wants to partner to build bridges for interoperability with networks. And this is incredibly important because at least in my personal opinion, I don't necessarily see crypto projects continuing or blockchain projects just in general continuing to thrive if they don't have some sort of interoperability set up, because let's face it, we have so many different chains with so many different capabilities, and communication has always kind of been a very key, I guess, theme,
Yes.
even outside of crypto. So do you want to talk to us a little bit about that? And then I got another question.
So I think a lot of people, when they hear the word interoperability, they think of interoperability between different blockchain networks. And that's important, but the real scale is going to be interoperating between Web 3 and Web 2. And, that was really clear at Sibos. So Sibos is an annual SWIFT conference. It's one of the most important events for global finance. It brings together leaders from banks and payment companies and the securities industry. And they're talking about regulation. They're talking about innovation and the future of sort of the financial industry as a whole. Tokenization, payments, stablecoins, it's mainstream now. It's not if, it's how. And in order for this evolution to really occur, there needs to be the ability to communicate across these different networks to bring on large scale applications. That's where Hedera is fantastic. That's where it is unique in that it has the scalability for huge payloads, huge Fortune 500 applications to come on board. And Hedera enables, both the transfer of stablecoins, but also facilitating messaging. Messaging is how most legacy systems or dispersed ledgers in traditional finance actually settles, and it's using ISO standards. And so that's one of the big topics here that was at SAPS.
Yeah, that makes sense because, you did mention Swift, and since that was like a Swift-based conference, it makes sense when we're talking about messaging because at the end of the day, it seems like Swift is really trying to integrate themselves into blockchain, into crypto, and to compete. And Hedera is really kind of paving the way with a lot of that. I mean, with the stablecoins in Wyoming, and just also with the tokenization of different things. And I do want to segue. Well, do you have any alpha for us about Swift at all, or should we segue into the next topic?
And SWIFT is at the center of global finance. They are a consortium of banks, and so it's vital that the interoperability of their systems is there, and so that's an area of focus for us.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about 24/7 tokenized US stocks on Hedera with Swarm Markets, because that one is a big one. We cover tokenization a lot on the show. RWAs, guys, RWAs and tokenization, basically the same thing, but a little bit different. But for the most part, tokenization is coming to the stock market, is coming to traditional finance. And what really makes Hedera the ideal network for bringing RWAs like equities on chain?
So Swarm is a little unique in that it's not just bringing them on chain, it's enabling them in a DeFi accessible way that's compliant with regulation. And so, um, what makes Hedera perfect for this? It's low predictable costs, it's no surge pricing, it's no front running, it's embedded KYC. These are some of the things that, if they're not in place, it's very difficult for large scale adoption of the securities market. Front running, as an example, is illegal activity in most regulated markets. And if that's embedded directly within the underlying protocol, because you can pay a little bit more gas fee to step in front of somebody, it's not well suited for the use case.
No, that totally makes sense. I mean, and let's talk a little bit about tokenized equities and funds evolving in the next 12 months. Like, what role will Hedera play? Because we've heard a lot of commentary from BlackRock and Fidelity. And also, though they do have some sort of assets that are tokenized on Hedera. But can you talk to us a little bit about how you see tokenized equities and funds evolving in the next 12 months? Because it sounds like a long time, but it's really a short period of time that we're going to see this massive shift.
It is. I mean, it's all happening right now. It's incredible. And this is why the sort of the crypto cycles or the Bitcoin cycle is a little different because of the regulatory clarity that's enabled institutions to now
Mhm.
adopt, um, you know, blockchain technology is a train that is not easily derailed. And so, when it comes to the innovation from tokenization, right now, most of the tokenization efforts have been recording a receipt of ownership on chain. That in itself is great, but it's limited in its real innovation. And so where we're really excited about and what we've seen on Hedera that hasn't been happening on other networks is the innovation when it comes to the composability. So you see products that are pooled together, like what Archax has done in terms of creating pooled tokens that are representative of money market funds from BlackRock, from State Street, from Aberdeen, and having a singular token that reference and is package of a pool of these other assets. And so that's structured products. It's the evolution of securitization and doing it on chain. And that's pretty incredible. I think you're going to see more types of innovations that are leaning into Hedera's regulatory compliance, meeting the needs of the securities markets. And that's exciting. And certainly when you combine that with stablecoins and cash flows, the plumbing of securities is going to start to really be where the innovation of the next 12 months is going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people, especially myself, because I'm still really learning a lot about traditional finance. And to those of you watching, if you don't know how all of the mechanics work with it, don't worry, because again, we weren't taught that in school, and it can be pretty complex, especially when you're talking about an existing financial system. But now we're kind of merging everything over to blockchain. But at the same time, it's like we're kind of renaming terms and redoing the way that things have been historically been done since what, like the 30s, the 40s, up until things started getting a little more electronic, what I would say the 80s up until now, and we're kind of revamping the entire system.
We are.
As far as Hedera's mainnet, it received a major upgrade recently. What are the key improvements, and how will they impact DeFi and tokenization use cases on the network?
Sure. So, and there's constant improvements to the network. The latest really has been related to batched transactions, and so
Yeah.
this is exciting because you can bundle multiple transactions and operations in sort of one singular all or none transaction. So this is great for examples like airdrops, where Either everybody gets the token or no one does. There's no sort of partial distributions. It enables some really exciting complex trades like atomic swaps across multiple venues that, it either executes or it doesn't. And so this is additional functionality that I think the community will really enjoy.
I like that you explained it that way because it didn't even cross my mind to think of airdrops when I initially covered it on the show. Because again, I do stuff live, and but again, that's another really great use case because airdrops are extremely important, especially when we're talking about community building and whatnot. And again, Hedera does have a lot of very, very, very strong community inside. The ecosystem, but as it expands, those types of features are going to be important, and I would imagine those are going to be important, maybe with dividends and other types of things on chain when we talk about traditional finance.
Yeah,
Other
it
than
will.
Oh, go
It
ahead.
will. And, just yesterday, I was sitting in Midtown Manhattan in the first building on the New York skyline that was tokenized on HEDERA. And that's, as you have more innovation and tokenization that is the real world assets, you're going to have cash moving around, the payments that tenants make, the payments that go out to investors. That's a whole lot of use of stablecoin. And that's, I think, where financial institutions get really excited. It's not the way that we're using stablecoins today. It's the way that it can be and is being used in traditional finance, but now can go and be done in a cheaper, faster way.
Absolutely love to see it and hear about it too, because we're getting all this information firsthand, guys. Like crypto is probably one of the most unique places that you can sit down with CEOs or people that are on different boards.
Well, if you're in the New York region or you're traveling and you want to check out the newest, crypto center in New York City, it's the Hotel Rivington. It's tokenized on Hedera, tokenized by Red Swan, and it's the first in the skyline.
Awesome. Greg, thank you so much for coming. And again, you guys, if you want to learn more about Hedera Foundation, about Hedera, about Hashgraph, or anything in the ecosystem, we've got the links down below. Join the community, ask questions. The community is super passionate and they would love to talk your ear off about anything related to Hedera. And again, Greg, thank you so much.
Thank you.